After watching my last video about technical part of arm wrestling, maybe you really wanted to become the one by training, analyzing, taking part in tournaments, and now I've got this full gym guide for arm wrestlers, beginner, intermediate, doesn't matter. Follow up this video to see what you really need to train and how to progress in arm wrestling.
Firstly, we need to choose the right gym. How did I choose my gym? That was very easy. I've got no options because there are two gyms in our city. Actually, I'm living in Kyrgyzstan. I just went to the one that hosted every tournament in our city. But if you have some options, look at these things. You need kimono belt to do some pulls, exercises. It's very important. Also, you need, for sure, arm wrestling table. Not arm wrestling gym without arm wrestling table. Also, you need this pulley connected to the table to train some group of muscles when you simulate the real person. Arm wrestling handles, different lot of ones, like a cone, this wide handle, thin handle, to strengthen different group of muscles. The equipment is very important, but what's more important is wipe at the gym. How trainers behave in there. Will they be toxic to you? And I've got this problem because in my gym the people there are not so pleasant, good as I wanted to be, but equipment was very good. There were like 40 handles, this arm wrestling table with pulley, kimono belts, 10 of them, but wipe wasn't okay. And if you need to look at the wipe at the gym. Maybe the guys are not trying to help you, they're not accepting you at the gym, you're like being alone. That's the things that you need to look at. Of course, firstly look at the wipe, then look at the equipments. These are the minimum required that you need. Of course, you will exercise with this equipment, and now let's go to the program.
Okay, my training program is similar to the one I've shown in my full gym guide. You can see here. It's split three sessions per week. I'll start with chest, and I combine chest with hook exercises, back with top roll exercises, and leg with wrist and fingers. As simple as that. Let's start with chest and hook. I'll do first bench press. When I call any exercise, I'll do 4 or 5 sets for 10 or 12 reps. I'm not gonna repeat it with any exercise. Next exercise is bicep curl with barbell, standing or seated. Standing is more to the just default bicep curls, but seated is more for the specialization. You work on your angles, you will hold here like iron. Next specialization, and it starts with side bicep curl. I'm gonna show somewhere here. It's really good for your side pressure. Next we move on to the hook imitation. What we need now is table, pulley and handle. If you have weak wrist and fingers, you can grab thicker handle and we will do imitation of the hook. And we'll now focus on endurance and reps to really feel this movement, to get it remembered in our mind. Next day is back and top roll. I'm usually gonna warm up with pull-ups without weights, 2 to 3 sets, and it's time to get some weights. First 10, then 20, then 30 kg, and when it's time to do 1 or 12 rep, I'll put 40 or 45 kg. Next exercise is specialization, is pronation first. Usually I'm doing it with karate belts. There are a lot of variations with pulley on the table, isolated, but for the beginners, belt pronation is really good and it will work on every angle that is possible in this movement. Next we'll move on to the rising. Rising is very important, just basic exercise for your top roll. Also with belts, preferable weights. I'm gonna show here 10 or more kg. This exercise are actually dangerous, and be careful when you can do these weights when you're really prepared, you've been training for some months consistently, and you know that the rising can handle this weight. Next goes back pressure exercise, standing or seated. I prefer to do it standing because also it gets to work every angle that is possible. Moving on to the leg, I do it with wrist and fingers. As said, first I'm gonna do squats. Firstly, warm up without weights, and now it's time to put barbell with the weights to 20 kg, 40, 60. Now it's time to 80 and 100 kg on 1 or 2, 3 or 4 reps for your strength. Next, if I have some time, if I'm not hurrying somewhere, I'll do leg press, lots of weight to strengthen my quadriceps. If I have even more spare time, I'll do calves. I really recommend you doing calves, but I will not pressure you to do this calves because I don't even do them myself. When I don't have time, I need to hurry somewhere. Now it's time to work on our wrist and fingers. Very important to strengthen your wrist because it's obviously 70% of your pulling on the table. If you lost your wrist, you're absolutely gone. You can't do anything. That's why I'll start with wrist curls with barbell on one hand, barbells on two hands, dumbbells, whatever. Choose what's most comfortable for you. Focus on weights but not on the reps. In this exercise, you need to focus a lot on your strength, how much kg can you lift. Next goes fingers. I'll do fingers like finger curls with barbell, really basic exercise for your fingers. And also the basic one is cupping is very important on the same level with pronation because cup your opponent's wrist first. I'll do a lot of reps and I'll work on endurance because this exercise really needs this endurance. And I'll finish with some little sparring pulls with my friends. It will last 30 or 40 minutes. Really great for your endurance on the table.
Okay, now you've been training consistently for some months, you've gained some muscle, you're in a good shape, and now you see that someone hosts a tournament inside your city, and you think like, oh yeah, I'm completely ready, I can pull. It's 3 weeks until the tournament, and what we need to do is to strengthen our endurance because we've been focusing on muscle mass, and now we need some endurance to be completely ready. We've been doing 12 reps and 4 sets until muscle failure. Now we need not to reach to the muscle failure and do a lot of reps, a lot of sets, and a little rest between the sets to make our muscles completely pumped up. For example, if you've been doing pronation lift with loads of weight and 10 or 12 reps, now it's time to do 17 or even 20 reps with 5 or 7 kg, and you will rest half a minute between sets to really test your muscles on this endurance. 2 weeks of doing these kind of training sessions are okay. I've been doing it myself. You can do one sparring session when there's 1 week left, and you will have 1 week of rest before the tournament. That's how you will be prepared. Your muscles will be rested. You will have complete endurance and strength. You're gonna destroy this tournament. When the tournament ended, you need some rest. And let's talk about it in detail. So after tournaments, I rest usually for 3 to 4 days, and then I'm ready to go to my training sessions as always. But what rest do we need between training sessions? Very important, because we're just having 1 spar day at Friday, maybe at Saturday, and then we completely pull out of our mind when our muscles are so pumped up we can do nothing. Of course, you will want to, pull at the school when your friends are requesting you. I wouldn't recommend you do that because after training sessions, your muscles are, sore without these sparrings. But now you want to spar additional time at the school. I myself don't sometimes follow this rule because I have this strong desire to pull. It's my passion to be an arm wrestler. And if you also have one, it will be okay to have some sparring outside the gym and inside the gym. When you're in this focused mode, you need to bulk or you need to lose fat. You need not to pull out of school. It's time to stick to your diet. As I've mentioned, this diet guide, you will stick to that while you're resting, while you're training. If you're eating protein and sleeping well, sleeping is the basics of the proper rest, you will bulk out of training sessions. As you know, you're gaining muscle even more when you're resting. So that's what we need. No sparrings, recommend proper diet, sleeping well, and just having fun while arm wrestling. Do arm wrestlers need additional supplements and nutrition? You can live without supplements at all. It's just not as important as your training sessions, your diet, your sleep, your rest out of training sessions. What I've been using and what's been helpful for me, write it down. Creatine, monohydrate, very useful if you want to bulk. Second is omega-3 and vitamin D3. These are the most important in your additional supplementation. Micronutrients, it's the most needful supplements that every human being needs. Maybe you will want others like zinc, vitamin A, C, but these are preferable or needed if you get tested, and you will see like exactly what you need. Back to the creatine, I want to say that it's fucking amazing when it's time about if you want to increase your pronation lift from 15 kg to 20 kg. It will be a lot more easier if you just took some creatine at the morning for a month or 2 months consistently. You will see the result. I'm gonna clip here my body before the creatine and after, and you'll see that I've bulked a lot just taking creatine and living the same life. That's what maybe you need, but you can do without it.
When you've got all this knowledge, how to pull, what to train, it's time to really work hard on our goal. That's what separates us from these top arm wrestlers, just working hard on one goal from a long period of time consistently. And that's what I wish for you and for myself. I hope that some years later we'll meet up on some tournament that we hosted, and you will see we've been working really hard for these years, and now we're that top arm wrestlers. If you're interested in gym guide for beginners, you can see here, and remember, you don't have to feel comfortable about it, just keep going.